In a quiet residential neighborhood in the Boston suburbs, a modest two-story house stood beyond lush green lawns. Elizabeth Foster was standing by the window, gazing at the garden bathed in morning sunlight. Her brown hair, casually pulled back in her morning routine, only enhanced her intellectual appearance. "Mom, is breakfast ready?" a voice called from the living room. Elizabeth turned to see her 14-year-old daughter Emma putting on her school uniform. Emma had inherited her mother's intelligent eyes and straightforward personality. "Almost, Emma. Would toast and scrambled eggs be all right?" "Yes, that sounds good," Emma replied with a smile. "You know what? I finished all my math homework by myself yesterday." Liz gave her a warm smile. "That's wonderful. You're so much smarter than me." "But Mom, you're smart too. You were working late on that complicated proposal yesterday, weren't you?" Liz shrugged lightly. "Well, perhaps. But that's more experience than talent." As they shared breakfast, Liz listened to Emma talk about school life. As a single mother, she treasured the time with her daughter above all else. After her divorce, Liz had raised Emma alone, outwardly presenting herself as an ordinary working mother running a small consulting firm from home. "What time will you be home today?" Emma asked, slinging her backpack over her shoulder. "I should be back by 5. I only have one meeting with a client today," Liz answered, harboring a truth she couldn't share with anyone. After seeing Emma off, Liz went to her study. A state-of-the-art laptop sat on a simple desk. She entered a password and opened an encrypted folder. On the screen appeared confidential data from Boston's largest corporate group. 10 years ago, Liz and 3 college friends had launched a technology company called Novitech. Her strategic thinking and sharp intuition had driven the company's rapid growth. 5 years ago, when the company went public, Liz sold most of her shares and acquired immense wealth. However, she never shared this fact with her family. Her phone rang, and the name Kate appeared on the screen. Liz took a deep breath before answering. "Hello, Liz? Did you receive the party invitation?" Her sister's voice carried its usual lightness mixed with a sense of superiority. "Yes, I did," Liz replied quietly. "Congratulations, Kate. The promotion to vice president is quite an achievement. Isn't it?" "It was more challenging than I imagined. But Mom and Dad are so proud." Kate's voice contained a hint of boasting. "You and Emma will come, won't you? I've arranged special seating for you." Liz gazed out the window. "We'll be there. I plan to bring Emma." "Wonderful. You'll see everyone. Oh, by the way, Liz, how's your work going?" Liz smiled. Kate never understood her work. Or rather, never tried to understand it. "It's going well. Small, but fulfilling." After hanging up, Liz sank deeper into her chair. Her sister Kate had grown up carrying all their parents' expectations. When Liz dropped out of college to pursue a startup, her parents criticized her for not trying hard enough. In contrast, Kate graduated from a prestigious university and joined a large corporation. In their parents' eyes, Kate was the successful daughter. Even after Liz had attained wealth and success, she never told her family the truth. She imposed strict confidentiality on her lawyers and managers and avoided media exposure. As the founder of Integrity Consulting, she had advised many companies anonymously. Ironically, Kate's company was one of them. A new email arrived on Liz's laptop. The sender was Michael Harrington, the CEO of the company where Kate worked. "Dear EF, thank you for your recent advice. Thanks to you, our third-quarter performance has improved significantly. I deeply appreciate that you'll be attending the vice president promotion party this weekend. Michael Harrington." Liz smiled wryly. Michael didn't know that EF, consultant, and Elizabeth Foster were the same person. She sent a simple reply. "It was my honor to be of service. I'll be attending the party for personal reasons. E.F." Liz stood up and opened her closet. As she selected a dress to wear to the party, she wondered how long she should continue this double life. For Emma's sake, the time would come to reveal the truth. However, it shouldn't be to buy her family's false affection, but for herself. The Plaza Hotel in downtown Boston. Standing at the entrance to the grand ballroom on an upper floor, Liz took a deep breath. As the doorman opened the heavy door for her and her daughter, the glow of chandeliers enveloped them. "Mom, this is amazing." Emma's eyes widened. Her navy blue dress, chosen with her mother's advice, was simple yet elegant. "Don't be nervous," Liz gently put her arm around Emma's shoulders. She herself wore a black cocktail dress. It wasn't flashy, but the quality fabric and perfect tailoring enhanced her intellectual beauty. "Just be yourself." The venue was already bustling with guests. Executives, business partners, families, and friends. Elegant dresses and suits adorned the hall, and conversations with champagne glasses in hand blended pleasantly with the background music. "Liz, you've finally arrived," a voice said. Turning around, she saw her mother Judith standing there. Dressed in a sophisticated two-piece outfit with a pearl necklace gleaming at her throat. Her eyes glanced briefly at Emma before returning to Liz. "You're quite late. Half the greetings are already over." "Good evening, Mother," Liz replied with a smile. The traffic was heavy. "Besides, we're right on time according to the invitation." "Well, never mind," Judith waved her hand dismissively. "Kate is at the center table. You should go greet her." Without further conversation, Judith moved on to other guests. She hadn't offered any special greeting to Emma. "It's all right," Liz said, noticing Emma's expression. "Grandma's just a bit difficult." As they approached the center table, they caught sight of Kate Foster's glamorous figure. She was dressed in a red gown, radiant with perfect makeup and hairstyle. Kate always knew how to command attention. "Well," Kate exclaimed. Her voice was slightly exaggerated, calculated to draw the attention of those around her. "You finally made it. I was about to give up on you." "Congratulations, Kate," Liz quietly offered her congratulations. "Vice President is a wonderful promotion." "Thank you." Kate beamed. "Maybe if you work hard enough, you could become like me someday." Liz detected the irony in that statement. Kate pointed to their father, Robert, who was talking with several businessmen. "Dad is so proud of me today. Just yesterday he said, Kate is the true successor of the Foster family." Liz maintained her smile. "That's wonderful. Dad looks well. By the way, Emma," Kate addressed her niece for the first time. "How's school?" "Still at that public school." "Yes, West Hill Middle School," Emma replied in a composed voice. "I won first prize at the science fair last month." "Well, isn't that something?" Kate's voice contained a hint of boredom. "But a private school would offer a much better education." "Is it a money issue?" Liz said quietly, "Emma likes West Hill. She has friends there, and the teachers are excellent." "I see." Kate shifted her gaze as if bored. "Oh, Michael has arrived. I must go. You two have seats over there." She walked away confidently in her luxury brand heels, waving to CEO Michael Harrington. Michael was a man with refined features and a calm demeanor. After smiling at Kate, he glanced briefly in Liz's direction. There seemed to be something meaningful in his gaze. "Is that Kate's boss?" Emma asked quietly. "Yes, Michael Harrington. He's a very capable executive," Liz answered. She couldn't explain her relationship with Michael, her relationship as E&F consultant. Once seated at their assigned table, they found themselves surrounded by strangers. Introductions began, and inevitably the question came, "What kind of work do you do, Liz?" "I run a small consulting company," Liz replied calmly. "I mainly advise small to medium-sized businesses." "What kind specifically?" asked a man in a suit, apparently one of Kate's colleagues. Mostly digital strategy and organizational improvement, Liz answered vaguely. But it's small scale, not like Kate's big company. Oh, I see, the man's expression showed slight disappointment. Kate consistently produces excellent results, and we're all impressed by her strategic thinking. Liz only smiled. Many of Kate's excellent strategies were actually proposed by Liz as AF consultant. But she couldn't say that. Mom, Emma whispered. Those people are looking at us strangely. Liz squeezed her daughter's hand. Don't worry about it. They're just curious. At that moment, the sound of a bell rang through the hall, and Michael Harrington stood up. With glass in hand, he commanded the attention of the room. Ladies and gentlemen, we've gathered tonight to celebrate Kate Foster's appointment as vice president. His voice was steady. Kate, please come forward. Applause erupted from the audience as Kate stepped forward with a beaming smile. Her eyes shone with the joy of victory. Liz gripped Emma's hand tightly under the table. Michael Harrington raised his glass high and said, "Let's celebrate tonight's star, Kate Foster," and thunderous applause filled the room. He offered the microphone to Kate. Dressed in a vibrant red gown, Kate accepted the microphone with a triumphant smile. Thank you all for gathering here today despite your busy schedules. Kate's voice was full of confidence. I fully embrace this honor of becoming vice president. It hasn't been an easy journey. But I believe that with talent, effort, and the courage to seize opportunities, any goal can be achieved. Voices of agreement and applause arose from the audience. Robert and Judith, seated at the first table, gazed proudly at their daughter. Of course, my family's support has been significant, Kate continued. Blessed with wonderful parents, I've always been given the best education and opportunities. My father and mother believed in my potential and encouraged me to take on challenges. She waved to her parents. Judith had tears in her eyes, and Robert proudly held his head high. And we have a special guest here tonight, she added. Kate's gaze suddenly turned toward Liz. Liz straightened her back. Inside her chest, an ominous feeling began to grow. My sister, Elizabeth Foster. Would you stand up? Liz hesitated. Emma looked up at her mother with an anxious expression. As all eyes in the room turned to Liz, she slowly rose. Her simple black dress seemed plain compared to the vibrant outfits around her. Let me introduce her to everyone, Kate's voice contained a slight mockery. This is my sister. She's, how should I put it? Kate deliberately paused. Tension began to fill the room. This is my sister-in-law, who has been unemployed for 3 years. A murmur spread through the room. Liz's face froze. And she's single. Someone please take care of her. Kate laughed loudly with a wine glass in her hand. Her laughter echoed throughout the venue, and several guests returned rude laughter in response. Some guests looked away awkwardly, but many applauded lightly as if in agreement with Kate. The blood drained from Liz's face. The gazes around her seemed to pierce more sharply. However, she remained unshaken, continuing to stand quietly. Although anger and humiliation swirled within her, she maintained composure in her expression. My sister dropped out of college and has been doing small consulting ever since. Kate moved her fingers in the air as if making quotation marks. But no one knows her company. Isn't that strange? More laughter spread. Liz took a deep breath. This wasn't just sisterly malice, it was a planned humiliation. Emma's trembling hand clutched the hem of her dress. Mom. Emma's small voice was heard. Tears glistened in her eyes. Liz placed her hand on her daughter's shoulder and smiled encouragingly. But my sister has one blessing, her cute daughter, Emma. Kate waved to Emma. Do you have a college fund? I could help out a little. At those words, Emma's face turned bright red. Something inside Liz was about to snap, but she took a deep breath and suppressed her emotions. Our mother Judith always said, life is about choices. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail lies in those choices, Kate continued. I made the right choices. That's why I'm here now. She looked at Liz again. Her eyes were filled with superiority and mockery. Liz remained silent, straightening her back even more. Her eyes had become cold as ice. Mom, let's go home. Emma's trembling voice reached Liz's ears. Her voice mixed with fear and humiliation. Large tears were about to fall from the girl's eyes. Liz looked at Emma. Her daughter's hurt expression pierced her heart. Until now, Liz had hidden the truth for her own pride. She thought she didn't need to prove her success to her family. But now, her daughter was being hurt and shamed. You're right, Emma, Liz finally spoke. Let's go home. She took Emma's hand and quietly stood up. As eyes in the room were still fixed on them, Liz began walking toward the exit with determined steps. Oh, you're leaving already? Kate's voice echoed through the microphone. The night is just beginning. Won't you stay until the end of my celebration? We're family, after all. Liz stopped and looked back at Kate. Her eyes spoke nothing, but her posture showed firm resolve. Even family needs manners, Kate. Liz's voice was calm but resonated throughout the hall. At that moment, something surprising happened. Please wait a moment, said a voice. Michael Harrington suddenly stood up. His face was pale, clearly disturbed. As the room fell silent, he walked over to Kate and gently took the microphone. Ms. Elizabeth Foster, please return to your seat, he said. His voice mixed respect and pleading. Liz didn't move, looking at Michael with questioning eyes. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael swept his gaze across the entire room. I must correct a serious misunderstanding. His words transformed the atmosphere in the room. Kate stared at Michael with a confused expression, and their parents leaned forward. This person. Michael pointed at Liz. His voice trembled. This person is our company's lifesaver. Sounds of surprise rose from the audience. Kate's expression froze. I just realized a fact, Michael continued. Ms. Elizabeth Foster has been the identity behind EF Consultant, who has been anonymously advising our company for the past 3 years. A greater murmur filled the room. Liz stood quietly. It was the moment her secret was being revealed. It was none other than Elizabeth Foster who saved our company from numerous crises and drew our growth strategy. Michael's voice was now filled with respect and gratitude. And I must confess that behind Kate Foster's promotion was her excellent advice as well. The blood drained from Kate's face. She was at a loss for words, merely moving her mouth. Her parents' expressions changed dramatically too. Judith's eyes widened, and Robert almost rose from his chair. This person is certainly not unemployed. Michael continued, choosing his words carefully. Rather, she is one of the most outstanding business strategists I know. Emma looked up at Liz. Her eyes mixed surprise and pride. Mom. Liz squeezed Emma's hand and smiled. I'm sorry for hiding it. But now, it seems the time has come to tell you everything. Michael bowed deeply to Liz. Ms. Elizabeth Foster, would you please tell everyone about your true self? The room was enveloped in silence. With hundreds of eyes fixed on her, Liz slowly stepped forward. Without letting go of Emma's hand, she stood beside Michael. Thank you, Michael, Liz said in a composed voice. Taking the microphone, she surveyed the room. Kate stood dumbfounded, and her parents watched their daughter with complex expressions. Let me share a little about myself, Liz took a deep breath. I am Elizabeth Foster. And as Michael said, as EF consultant, I have provided anonymous advice to many companies over the past few years. Murmurs arose from the audience. Everyone was trying to understand the meaning of what was happening before their eyes. 10 years ago, I co-founded a technology company called Novatech with 3 friends, Liz continued. When we went public 5 years ago, I sold my shares and subsequently established Integrity Consulting. Judith rose from her chair. Her eyes showed disbelief. Robert likewise stared at Liz with amazement. Integrity Consulting now provides services to many Fortune 500 companies, Liz stated the facts calmly. I became involved with Kate's company 3 years ago, when Michael was seeking an anonymous consultant. Michael stepped forward and continued, without Elizabeth's, or rather, EF, consultant's advice, our company would not have overcome the financial crisis 3 years ago. Her strategic thinking and market analysis are unparalleled in the industry. Moreover, Michael raised his voice, she has donated all of her fees to educational and medical charities. Sounds of surprise rose from the audience, and applause began to spread naturally. Kate's face turned pale, and she clenched her hands. Why? Kate's voice trembled. Why did you keep quiet? Were you deceiving us? Liz looked at Kate. Her eyes mixed sadness and resignation. I wasn't deceiving you, Kate. I just couldn't find meaning in telling the truth. What do you mean? Robert stood up and came forward. His voice mixed anger and confusion. Were you ashamed of our family? Liz smiled. It was a smile tinged with sadness. Dad, remember when I said I was dropping out of college to start a startup? What did you say? Robert was at a loss for words. His expression clouded as if memories returned. You said, you don't try hard enough. Face reality, Liz quietly recalled. Mom said, don't make shameful choices. You both never acknowledged my choices and constantly compared me to Kate. Judith tried to speak, but Liz gently raised her hand to stop her. I'm not blaming you. Perhaps that was your way of showing love. But at that time, I decided to forge my own path. I didn't seek anyone's approval, I believed in my passion and intuition. Emma stood beside Liz and squeezed her mother's hand tightly. Liz smiled at her daughter. I remained silent even after succeeding because what I needed wasn't false respect based on wealth or status, but genuine affection, Liz continued quietly. I wanted to teach Emma that a person's worth isn't measured by the numbers in their bank account, but by their integrity and compassion. Tears of pride glistened in Emma's eyes. She looked up at her mother and nodded slightly. Were you really that successful? Kate's voice was hoarse. More than me. Michael said gently, Elizabeth Foster, as the founder of Integrity Consulting, is a legendary figure in the business world. However, she always avoided media exposure and worked anonymously. And, Michael turned back to Kate, without her advice, your promotion wouldn't have happened. Many strategic proposals evaluated for your vice presidential candidacy were actually Elizabeth's ideas. The blood drained from Kate's face, and she staggered. A nearby colleague supported her. I don't resent you, Kate, Liz said kindly. In fact, I was supporting your success behind the scenes. But I cannot forgive you for publicly insulting me and Emma at tonight's party. Her voice was calm, but her words carried weight. The room fell completely silent. Elizabeth, Judith came forward. Tears welled in her eyes. We just wanted you to do your best. Your talent. It's too late, Mother, Liz smiled sadly. 15 years ago, I might have hungered for those words. But now, I have a real family. She embraced Emma's shoulders. Family isn't just about blood ties, it's about relationships where we respect, support, and trust each other. Emma and I, and the friends around me, are bound by such ties. Robert stepped forward. His voice had lost its usual dignity. Liz, won't you give us another chance? We were wrong. Liz looked at her father. For a long time, she had dreamed of this moment. An apology from her father, recognition. But now, hearing those words, her heart remained unmoved. Dad, forgiving and restoring a relationship are different things, Liz said quietly. I forgive you. But our future relationship depends on whether we can truly respect each other. She returned the microphone to Michael. We'll be leaving now. Emma, let's go. Wait, Michael called out. Shouldn't we also celebrate Elizabeth Foster's honor tonight? Without her, our success would not have been possible." Applause naturally erupted from the audience. Many people stood up to show respect to Liz. Kate just stood dumbfounded, and her parents watched their daughter with complex expressions. "Thank you, Michael. But tonight," Liz squeezed Emma's hand, "my daughter and I would like to spend time quietly at home." She left the venue with determined steps. Emma walked beside her mother with her back straight, looking proud. Illuminated by the hall's brilliant lighting, the two appeared to shine brighter than anyone else. A sophisticated modern office building in the Boston suburbs. A large glass door bearing the name Integrity Consulting gleamed in the morning sun. On the lobby wall hung the company's philosophy, placing integrity and innovation at the center of business. 3 months had passed. Liz took a deep breath as she gazed outside from her spacious office window. Since appearing before the media and running her company under her real name, her life had changed significantly. However, that change had been for the better. "Liz, I've prepared the proposal for the new project," said Sarah, her assistant, handing over some documents. Unlike her previous anonymous days, Liz was now surrounded by numerous staff. Companies seeking her experience and wisdom continued to increase, and Integrity Consulting was rapidly expanding. "Thank you, Sarah," Liz said with a smile. "By the way, was there any call from Emma's school?" "Yes, the director praised your daughter's project as excellent," Sarah replied with a smile. Liz nodded with satisfaction. Emma had recently won an award for her school project on environmentally friendly business models. Since learning her mother's true identity, she had gained more confidence and wasn't afraid to demonstrate her talents. There was a knock at the office door, and Michael Harrington entered. Since the night of the party, he and Liz had built a new business partnership. "Ready?" Michael asked with a smile. "The board is looking forward to your presentation." "Yes, I'm fully prepared," Liz answered. "The new direction will be a great opportunity for both companies." They stepped into the elevator. "About Kate." Michael carefully broached the subject. "She requested a transfer yesterday. She wants to be reassigned to the marketing department." Liz nodded silently. Since the night of the party, Kate's position had been significantly shaken. Since the revelation that her promotion wasn't solely due to her own efforts, her colleagues' perception of her had changed. "She might need a fresh start," Liz said quietly. "And your parents?" Michael asked. "I haven't contacted them yet," Liz gazed out the window. "A letter came last week. I haven't read it." Michael nodded understandingly. Time doesn't always heal everything. Deep wounds need an appropriate recovery period. That evening, Liz was having dinner with Emma in their new suburban home. It was larger and brighter than their previous house, symbolizing their new life. "Mom, look at this," Emma held out her tablet. "The company run by my school friend's father has formed a partnership with your company." Liz smiled. "Yes, that's Jessica's father's company. They have wonderful technology." Jessica said. "Your mom is amazing," Emma said, looking a bit embarrassed. "Everyone knows about you now, Mom." "It seems so," Liz answered gently. "But what matters most to me is that you're proud of me." Emma came to Liz's side and leaned against her shoulder. "I've always been proud of you. No matter who you were." Liz gently kissed Emma's hair. The doorbell rang, and Emma stood up. "It's Uncle Michael." When she opened the door, not only Michael but also Liz's old friends had gathered. They had brought wine and food. Liz's startup-era companions, college friends, and new business partners. "Surprise," everyone chorused. "We're here to celebrate your new home." Liz laughed from her heart. Around her was her true family. Not bound by blood, but people who respected and supported each other. She was now living her life proudly, without hiding from anyone. In the circle of smiling faces gathered in the living room, Liz quietly thought. Perhaps true success is living honestly with oneself. And being surrounded by people who can share in that joy together.